I have seen Gran Turismo. It's a film directed by Neil Blomkamp. It's a true story about a gamer who played the video game Gran Turismo on the I believe it was the PS3 at the time, and actually became a real in-life race car driver based on a true story. It is, and I'm surprised to tell you this, I really loved this film. They pushed back the release of it it was originally supposed to come out, I believe, August 11th. They have pushed the release now to the end of the month. I believe August 25th. It's now been pushed. And the reason is because they cannot get the IMAX screens. And this film needs to be seen on IMAX. Now, I am just as shocked as you are to report that this movie is phenomenal. And let me just say, the trailer is terrible. The trailer for this movie makes it look like a dumb video game movie. The video game part of the film only encompasses about the first 20 minutes of the movie. Because this is how the lead character, played by this actor Archie Madakwe, and his character's name, or the character's Archie Madakwe. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Archie Madakwe. And he's based on a real person named Jan Martin. I can't pronounce these names. And they're British names. Oh my God, I'm terrible. Forgive me for this. But in any case, I'm surprised how much I love this film. Why did I love it so much? One, it begins as a slow burn. You meet this kid. He's kind of a loser, a gamer, wins a contest. This is all in the trailer, and goes off to a camp, Gran Turismo camp, where he's actually taught how to drive a real race car. He knows the physics from playing the video game so well. He knows the tracks so well from playing this game for thousands of hours. And he has like every incarnation of the game that's existed. Okay. And you can actually outfit your vehicle with different parts, engines, whatnot, drive different vehicles, whatever. So a fan of the game becomes a real life race car driver, is trained and is not great at it at first. And the person who wins the contest will actually get to play in some races. They have to place at least fourth in a race to be able to move on. Of course, this is all sponsored by, I believe it's Nissan is the sponsor. So this is a real thing. Nissan was a sponsor of this group of this sort of gamers team, right? And Orlando Bloom plays the sales guy that sells this whole thing. What worked about the film? I don't want to go into too much detail. A couple things I want to point out. This is a sports movie. And what do I love about sports movies? Well, in any sports movie, once you get emotionally engaged in the characters and their story, it's a very definitive ending. Do you win or do you lose? Sometimes when you lose, you actually win. For example, the original Rocky or Bad News Bears. The characters in Rocky and the Bad News Bears, it wasn't about winning. It was about winning respect. And even though in the first Rocky, he loses the fight, he wins the respect. In the Bad News Bears, they were a terrible team, a group of misfits with a drunken Walter Matthau, which that movie, if you look back on it, is very irresponsible, incredibly irresponsible. Like, kids swear, the kids, like, you could not make the original Bad News Bears movie today, but I love that movie in the 70s. I saw that film and just loved it. And Walter Matthau's like drinking beer and driving with a bunch of kids in his car. Like, there's just so many things I look back and it's like Disney could never make a movie like that ever again. But I love those films, right? And nobody takes this kid who played a video game, the PS3, nobody takes him seriously. Suddenly he begins to do well. And Neil Blomkamp directed the shit out of this. The intensity of the racing scenes is so incredible. He uses drone shots, and you're in the cockpit. You get what it's like to just like, it is a physical endurance test. It gave me a whole new appreciation for race car driving, which is not a sport I've ever kept up with really in real life. I used to watch the Indianapolis 500. It's fine. I was not a big NASCAR guy, just didn't really grab me. But the way that the racing scenes are shown in this is so intense. There are payoffs with characters. The ending of, I'm not going to, of course, get into anything in the second half of the ending, but an amazing payoff. Stay through the credits is all I want to say. I am as surprised as you. But this movie brought me back to another film, completely different type of racing movie, but one of my favorite movies that you are probably not going to remember, but I'm going to throw a recommendation out there, probably something for DVD Tuesday. A movie called Breaking Away, which was a movie with Dennis Quaid. He's a kid, basically, in that movie. I don't know how old he was. Maybe he was a teenager when he made it.
I'm pretty sure like late teens, early 20s.
Yeah. So the movie Breaking Away, these misfits, they were the cutters, and the cutters were the townies that didn't go to college. This was when Hollywood championed people from the working class. Okay. So cutters were stone cutters in this town in the Midwest, and they were looked down upon by the kids going to college. But the heroes of the movie were the blue collar working people of that town. And they were disrespected by the college kids that came from all over the country. You know, the kids who had money, who went to college, right? And the cutters were the locals, the townies. And this kid, the lead character in Breaking Away, it's really kind of like breaking away, getting out of your home, right? Like he rides a bicycle. He wants to race with the Italians, and he kind of pretends to have an Italian accent. And he has a cat named Fellini. Anyways, the film leads to a big bicycle race between the college kids, and they let, for the first time, they let the town, people from the town, have a team called the Cutters. Everyone from the local town, cops, you know, the blue collar working people who cut stone are like rooting for the Cutters. And the third act of it with the bicycle race is just fantastic. I felt the same way watching the third act of Gran Turismo that I felt watching Breaking Away. And I don't know that I've seen a movie that made me feel that way between that time. I know it's surprising for me to say all this, but this movie as a sports movie knocked it out of the park. And it's probably one of the best racing films I've ever seen. I'm trying to compare it, you know, to previous films of this type. It just nailed it because of the director's approach. Neil Blomkamp just got you in, not only in there, got you in the head of the lead character, Jan, who you see sort of his thought process because he's played the video game so much and he has driven these tracks for thousands of hours. He knows the track in the video game. I don't want to give too much away, but they're doing early screenings of it. I think it might even be playing this weekend. It does open officially on August 25th. Alan, I hope that you'll go see the film.
Well, I'm definitely going to see it. Let me ask you this, though. The reason I hate this trailer is
the trailer's terrible.
But it gives us Charlie and the Chocolate Factory kind of feeling. You know, this fantastical, hey, I played a video game. I'm the greatest at the video game. And now I'm going to get behind the wheel of a real, you know, race car. And it just questions the authenticity of this story. And I kind of want to know, you know, I mean, it sounds like it does a real good job to make it feel like that this could have, that this really happened, and that there's an authenticity that we're just not getting across in the trailer.
Well, I'll just say this. None of it is in the trailer. The trailer is stupid. The trailer is basically focuses on the first 20 minutes of the movie. which is Orlando Bloom's characters recruiting these gamers. They have this competition, then they go to a camp. Like, that's in the movie, but that's not what the movie is. That's just the starting point of the film. And I don't want to go into it because I don't want to. Yeah, Patrick T, Last Starfighter vibes. Yeah, for sure. But I'm surprised how much I enjoyed the film. And by the end, you get like I saw it it was a packed audience. I was surprised. I look back like, oh wow, it's a crowded audience. Like, where people are just getting like super excited, where they're clapping and getting pumped. I'm looking forward to seeing it again with an audience in IMAX. Unfortunately, I did not get to see it in IMAX. I'm not complaining about the sound and picture and all that. It was very good, but this movie needs to be seen in IMAX. There's a reason that Sony pushed the release date until later so people can get Oppenheimer out of their system. But it's also, it's 2 hours and 15 minutes, but I believe it really earned it. And the movie goes deep. It feels like an indie movie. That's why I'm comparing it to a movie that I'm not sure how many people in the chat have actually seen Breaking Away. It's an old movie. It is in color, I will say. But look it up. Look up Breaking Away. Do yourself a favor. Watch that film. It's in the 70s. Hollywood movies felt like independent films. And then what happens is Hollywood got, around 1982, Hollywood sort of veered into spectacle. A lot of that having to do with the success of movies like Jaws and Star Wars. So Hollywood went spectacle, and then indie films just kept making the types of movies that were made in the 70s. In the 70s, those movies, you could go through them, they were like low budget indie movies because that's what Hollywood was willing to finance. Okay. So I'm just like, I DM'd a couple people that I follow who are YouTubers on Twitter, like Az and Ryan Kinnell and some others. And I'm like, hey, I just saw Gran Turismo. I'm as shocked as you are that I'm telling you this. It's actually really good. I don't want to say too much more. I haven't gotten into it, but that trailer is awful. I think it's awful. And Neil Blomkamp,
I would not see this movie if it were just for the trailer.
The trailer did not, because it just looked like this is a video game movie. It is not a video game movie. The video game is the starting point into a true story. And so there you go.
So is this an awards film?
It's not an awards film.
Okay.
It will win 0 awards. But one thing I will say, actually, you know what? I'm going to save it for when we actually review. I don't want to say there's just, the movie in the third act really pays off. And even the movie meetup group that I go with in Burbank every week, they were like, wait, what? What? You're kidding. What?